Bienvenidos a otro video. Hoy hablamos de verbos con cambios de raíz. And if you can read English, you can see that we are talking about stem changing, also known as boot verbs.
Hola, estudiantes! We're going to have a really great video here for you to learn your stem changing verbs. The review, you should have learned those last year in Spanish 1. You are welcome to watch the video. Well, actually, you have to watch the video. If you do want to kick it old school and study from your textbook, which should be at your house, this is on page 27. If not, we're going to continue right now with our video.
Cambio de raíz. En el tiempo presente hay unos verbos que contienen un cambio de raíz. So we're talking about stem changing verbs, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to figure out if a verb is a stem changing verb, but mainly you just got to kind of memorize it. The changes that we're going to see today is that there's 4 different kinds of stem changing verbs. Verbs that change from an E to IE, O to UE, E to I, and U to UE. And from now on, when we give you new vocabulary, we will always put in parentheses afterwards if it's a E to IE stem changer, O to UE, etc.
Okay, here's our first stem changing verb. It's the verb poder. Poder significa to be able to, can. So if we were to dissect a verb, we would circle the verb ending. It would be ER, IR, or AR, and what's left is called the stem. So you're going to see the stem change is going to happen in the stem, so O is going to change to UE in all forms except for nosotros and vosotros. So there's yo puedo, O becomes UE. We use the regular ER verb ending. Tú puedes, usted puede, usted, él, and ella, that is. Nosotros podemos, no stem change there. Vosotros podéis, again, no stem change. And then third person plural, ustedes, ellos, ellas pueden. So again, notice we are just using our regular ER verb endings. The stem change occurs in all forms except nosotros and vosotros. So some other verbs that follow the same pattern are almorzar, to eat lunch, costar, to cost, dormir, to sleep, volver, to return, and recordar, to remember.
And notice you can see that the blue is the part of the stem that changes. One other verb that we have, and this one's an E to IE stem changer, is empezar, and this is on our vocab list for this chapter. Empezar means to begin. So going through the conjugations, you're going to notice that the blue E is going to change to IE because it's an E to IE stem changer. Empiezo, empiezas, empieza, empezamos, empezáis, and empiezan. So once again, you're going to notice that change occurred in the yo, tú, él, usted, ustedes, ellos, and ellas forms, but did not change in the nosotros and vosotros forms. So once again, we only changed in those 4 conjugations. Other verbs that follow the same pattern of E to IE stem changers are querer, entender, pensar, preferir, cerrar, and perder. And in case you don't know those, it's to want, to understand, to think, to prefer, to close, and to lose.
Okay, kids, here's the verb pedir. This is a stem changer, E to I. It means to ask for, to request, also to order food in a restaurant. So we're going to go E to I in all forms except nosotros and vosotros. The yo form is pido. Tú pides. Usted, él, ella pide. Nosotros pedimos, no stem change. Vosotros pedís, no stem change. Ustedes, ellos, ellas piden. Notice we're using your regular IR verb endings. Other verbs that follow this pattern are repetir and servir. With repetir, notice that second E in blue. When we have 2 vowels in the stem, in this case 2 E's in the stem change will occur in the E closest to the verb ending. Then we have servir, which is to serve.
Okay, one last kind of conjugation is U to UE, jugar. And there's not a lot of verbs that follow this one. But we have jugar, which you should have learned last year, which is to play a sport or a game, not to be confused with the other play, 4 instruments. And we have the yo form is juego, so it's a U to UE stem changer. Tú juegas, él e usted juega, nosotros jugamos, remember, outside of the boot, which we have not exactly talked about yet. It is not a change. Vosotros jugáis, and ustedes, ellos, ellas juegan. So now here is where we need you to take out your sheet, and if you need to, remember, you can always pause, and you can rewatch again and again. I know that you all do that. So on this one, you take out your sheet, and the stem changing section has these 3 verbs. So we are going to have pensar, dormir, and pedir. We're going to take a minute right now and go through, and notice you still do have to pay attention to the fact that pensar is an AR verb and that we are going to have the change E to IE in the stem. So we have pienso, piensas, piensa, pensamos, pensáis, piensan. So make sure you have all of those filled in, and you're going to see coming up very slowly now is our boot. So the reason that these are called boot verbs is that that pattern over on the left kind of looks like a boot. Kind of a clunky boot, but it's a boot nonetheless.
Definitely not a Mexican pointy boot.
No. Well, we got to get a video on that someday soon.
Oh, we already have one. Botas picudas mexicanas. Inténtalo. You have to show the video.
Okay.
It's great.
I haven't done that yet. I'll get on that. Next, we have dormir. It's an O to UE stem changer. Duermo, duermes, duerme, dormimos, dormis, duermen, and once again there's my boot. So notice that outside the boot everything is green because it has no stem change. Inside the boot we made them red so you can see clearly where the stem change occurs. And again, that one's an IR verb, so we had all the IR endings. Pedir, pido, pides, pide, pedimos, pedis, piden. There's our boot. And notice that one is an E to I stem changer, so it only changes to 1 letter. Right below this section, you can see all of the other words. We gave you a bunch of them that follow. E to I, E, O to U, E, and E to I. And once again, jugar is just kind of hanging out by itself because there's not too many U to U, E stem changers. Can you think of any others?
I really can't, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I thought it was the only one.
I think it is the only one, but I didn't want to say that.
Well, I think it's decided.
Okay.
It's the only one.
We've decided. Please try and prove us wrong if you can. Now, one other thing is that if you notice nevar under the E to IE and llover under O to UE have the asterisk behind it, it's because one means to snow, the other means to rain, and there's really only one conjugation because you don't say I rain, he rains, you just say it rains, it snows. So our notes, notice all of them except for nosotros and vosotros, and also these are often called boot verbs. Both of these things we have mentioned, but just kind of try and keep them in your head. Práctica. We are going to have 10 questions to see how well you understand this, and you're going to text your answers to the 10 questions to your teacher's Google Voice number. We had some people last time tell us that they either didn't have texting ability or didn't have a phone handy, so you can either call us and leave a message with the 10 answers, or you may write it down on paper. Can you imagine how old school that is?
Old school
That's
right there.
kicking it old school. You can turn in a piece of paper to us in class tomorrow or the next time you see us. Okay, it's time to practice la práctica. Now is a perfect time for you to pause the video, go through and see how many of these 10 you know. I had people ask me last time, like, why would I have to write down the answers and send them to you even though you're going over all the correct answers? Well, it's just to kind of make sure that we know you're doing the practice, but we want to make sure you have the right answers right away so you're not doing it wrong.
Okay, kids, let's begin. La clase empieza a tiempo. Yo pido unos tacos. Nosotros podemos aprender de memoria el vocabulario.
But why is that podemos? I thought these were stem changing verbs.
Oh, Melissa, that's the nosotros form. There's no stem change in nosotros or vosotros.
Oh, that's right, outside the boot.
Okay, número 4. Ana entiende el español y el inglés. Tú duermes la siesta todos los días. Los niños juegan al fútbol. Tú y yo queremos aprender el español. Again, no stem
Outside
change
the
in
boot.
nosotros.
Oh, yeah.
Yo Pienso que el español es interesante.
Sí, es interesante.
Oh, súper interesante. Ustedes almuerzan en la cafetería. El restaurante sirve unas enchiladas deliciosas.
Okay, hopefully you got them all right. Please let us know if you have any questions about why some of these were conjugated the way they were, and we will see you mañana.
Adiós, amigos.
Ciao!